Hey, what's up guys, Matt Shiny here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Before we get too far into it, I do want to go ahead and apologize if you saw multiple videos being uploaded of the same thing. It will never happen again, but basically YouTube kind of removed the feature to do unlisted videos, and I was trying to get around that and I completely forgot because you have to schedule videos now. But besides that, we've got some pretty important information to talk about my quote-unquote secret investment, and we'll do so right after a quick word from our sponsor, Skins Monkey. The sponsor for today's video is Skins Monkey. Now, Skins Monkey is the quickest, easiest, and most importantly, safest way to go ahead and trade your CSGO skins. Now, Skins Monkey is super easy to use. You just have to take your item, take the item you want, and just go ahead, apply code MasterShiny to get your free $5 if it's your first trade, and just click trade. And if you've got no money to spend right now, they've got two ways for you to get some. First is just heading over and topping up. Make sure to use code MasterShiny for a free 5% there, and they've also got the freebies section where you can go ahead and enter free raffles that happen every single day. And as always, thank you so much, Skins Monkey. Make sure you use in the top link in the description to claim your free $5 today. Now, if you've watched my channel for a decent amount of time, you know transparency is 100% exactly what I go for. However, there is one area that I will say I'm not the most quote-unquote transparent for, and that's major capsules. If you don't remember, with Antwerp, I didn't tell you what I invested in until the actual capsules were removed from the store. I just believe it's the best way to do so because I'm not advertising for you to invest in or not to invest in. I'm giving you the information to do so, and if I explicitly told you to, I would therefore just not be putting myself in a smart situation. So today we're going to be breaking down, which if you haven't figured out already, the Rio capsules and what specifically I bought, because I did make a decent sized investment, and we're going to be talking about why specifically, which is the more important of the two. Now, the first factor, which honestly is one of the more important ones for me, is currently the cash value of these capsules. Now, this is very important. When we compare it to Antwerp, which we'll do in just a quick second, you're going to see a major difference. But if we head over to Buff or whatever third-party website you want to use, but I'm going to use Buff in this example because that's one of the more liquid sites, we can see here that the capsules are going for pretty much what you can buy them for on Steam, which is absolutely crazy. We're looking at 24 cents minimum. And obviously you might say, well, that's because the prices have been getting closer between Steam and Buff. Yes, but if we want to compare that to Antwerp, you can see here that I bought Antwerp autograph capsules for 18-ish cents at that time. And honestly, that wasn't that long ago. It was about 8 months, which is a decent amount of time. But I mean, I was only paying 75% of the Steam price then. And I think that's probably in part due to the prices coming together, but more importantly, due to the fact that we're seeing a lot of these capsules not even be touched by many people. Therefore, people aren't in a rush to sell them. The people who are buying Rio here are doing so for the long term. And if you want to take that on over to any other third-party website, you can see here that the lowest we're seeing for the Rio 2022 Legend sticker capsule is 24 cents, and that's coming in at Bitskins, but all the other ones are sitting at over the Steam market value for this. And kind of to go along with that into my next point, we're really not seeing much of a supply, which does not seem like the greatest thing. Obviously, if there's not a ton of supply, there's probably not a ton of demand. But the thing is, demand in CSGO is not necessarily a straight line. Demand comes and goes, and I think there's a very high likelihood that if demand does come to Rio in the future, there's not going to be enough capsules to go around. Let's be completely honest. So we look at the Steam market listings, which obviously you know I don't like as a comparison, but we can see here there's not a ton of them listed. Obviously, people who invested in don't have a reason to list them, but we do roughly use that as just a very general indicator of how the markets are adapting or responding to a specific capsule. Rio's been out there for a long time on sale, and we're still seeing some pretty low numbers. And looking at the market, we always talk about how there's not a lot of crafts, but if we look at specific autographs, you can see here there's some autographs that have less than 10 listed on the market, which means that they're a very, very illiquid item. And if someone specific comes along, wants to craft with a couple of these, they're going to have a hard time doing so and could potentially double or even triple the price if we're talking about one of these items that's got just a handful listed. But then getting to the third, which is the main reason I'm actually specifically investing in, and that has to do with ROI. You know I'm a big ROI guy, but we want to compare this to Stockholm and Antwerp. I don't have the updated numbers for those two, but I do have their old numbers, which honestly I think is going to be a little bit more reliable than the current state of the market. If we look at the past numbers, we can see here that Stockholm and Antwerp peaked at 60-ish%. If we want to compare that to today, it's probably roughly similar, but if we want to look at just everything overall, we can see here that the peak was 60%, with the one outlier being the Stockholm contenders at 70%. Take a look at what we're seeing right now for Rio, and you can see that we're seeing one capsule at 53, but two capsules in the 80% range, one at 89 and one at 85, which is incredibly high for a capsule that's been out for so long. And specifically talking about the low demand that we're seeing, obviously the prices are pretty much as high as they can get, because otherwise we're going to be seeing ROIs over 100%, which just does not make sense at all. This is very important because we do have the old numbers from just a couple weeks ago for Rio, where we saw a very consistent ROI. Honestly speaking, the ROI then is pretty consistent to what we're seeing for the ROI now. This is the main reason I'm investing in, because if we see a couple stickers that come out of nowhere, or maybe another big thing happens with a team and they don't qualify, it's very possible we could see some price increases for some of the Rio stickers. Like we mentioned, not everyone looks specifically bad, and that could translate to a capsule getting over 100% ROI if it were at 25 cents, but we know from Antwerp and Stockholm that doesn't happen. The price of the capsule just goes up, and that's going to create some intense FOMO if we start to see capsules going up at a very quick period. If we see a capsule go up 5 or 6 cents in that first day, it's very possible that it could continue going up just because of FOMO alone. And then the last thing, which I feel like a lot of people are going to be able to connect to, is I'm not specifically investing into Rio because I think it's going to be the most profitable investment ever. I'm investing into Rio because I think it's the best opportunity available right now. If we look at Antwerp and Stockholm, both of these are up quite considerably, to the point that I don't think I would be able to get the ROI I would from Rio in this specific situation. I'm not going all in, and I want to make that very clear. I'm only putting a couple $100s in, but honestly, I don't think there's a ton of downside, at least with this specific major capsule. We're seeing that the ROI, in my opinion, is too good for these capsules to decrease in price pretty significantly, unless we see a lot of these stickers fall in price, which is definitely very possible. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think there's a ton of downside compared to the potential upside. Let's be completely honest. RMR is almost even at this point. Obviously, you got selling fees, and you could say you're only going to be getting about 22 cents back per capsule, but to say that's your worst ever CSGO investment is honestly very impressive when we see the hundreds of percents that we actually go up when we hit a very profitable capsule. Obviously, everything in CSGO investing comes with risk. I think there is definitely some risk when we're talking about the Rio capsules here. However, I think that the risk is low enough for me personally that I don't mind putting a couple percent of my total inventory into them. Obviously, I'm not going to be putting all of my $13,000 into Rio capsules here, but for me, it makes sense to put a couple $100s in because I do see the potential upside, and that's also the risk aversion that a lot of people want to avoid. They don't like seeing that their total inventory went down, whereas for me, I definitely will take the gamble when we're talking about something that could be very profitable. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.